So, as you know from the syllabus, we have a guest speaker on sensitive and critical periods today. He's kind of eccentric and has some interesting ideas, so I think you'll learn a lot. He's going to present his research on critical and sensitive periods. So here's Dr. Emmett Brown.
Thank you. Hi kids, you can call me Doc. Now does anybody know what a sensitive period is? Anybody? Anybody? No? Okay, I'll just tell you. To quote my good friends, Victoria Noland and Michael J. Thomas, a sensitive period represents a window within which the effects of environmental stimulation on brain structure and function are maximized. So what does that mean? According to this concept, sensitive periods are time spans during development. Now, this could be prenatally, during childhood, or even later in life, when certain stimuli and experiences are the most important for the easy acquisition of abilities and skills either at that point or later in life. Now, I'm sure you'll remember the example Bjorklund gives in your textbook about auditory stimulation and pre-hatchlings.
Isn't it pronounced Bjorklund?
Of course not, there's a J in his name. Now, the really interesting thing is that if the necessary conditions are absent during a window of opportunity, this sensitive period, development of related cognitive abilities, skills, and social competence and behavior may show marked deficits.
Dr. Brown?
Please, call me Doc.
I'm not sure I understand. Could you somehow show us what you mean?
Perfect question, and I have the perfect response. This video here will show you everything you need to know. My research assistant, Marty McFly, and I recently conducted some very interesting investigations into critical periods. We made this helpful documentary to, well, document all of our exciting findings. So just take a look at this. I must ask you, however, not to mention this to too many people.
Hey, Doc. Doc, what am I doing here? It's the middle of the night. This is crazy.
Marty, you should feel honored that you're about to take part in some of the most amazing research of all time. We're going to take a hands-on approach to critical periods.
So what's so exciting about critical periods?
We're not going to use many of the boring methods my colleagues have been known to use. We're going to use time travel.
So you mean you've somehow invented and perfected a flux capacitor, found a power source capable of propelling a time machine through the decades, built a time conveyance hall capable of navigating the stormy waves of Temple Stream, developed a plan to travel to the past of someone you know, determined to meddle around another person's developmental path, and charted a course back to the future, all to dramatically demonstrate how the events of an individual's past can influence the type of person he or she will become?
Yes, exactly that. Good work.
But how on earth do you get ethics board approval for this?
Well, you see. The Research Ethics Board! Quick, Marty! They found us! Run! Oh. 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 Don't let the research die, Marty.
Where am I? What? Huh? When am I? 1955? Holy crow! That's like when my parents were my age. I better go get changed. Hey, there's my mom right now. I wonder if I can make out what she's saying.
So, I have some bad news.
Don't tell me. You're...
Pregnant. Is there somebody looking in our window?
I'll check it out. Here, hold this.
Pregnant? So that's why the math never added up. But why would she be drinking alcohol if she were pregnant? I've heard that's harmful to the unborn child. Why the prenatal period is perhaps the most important critical period. Unborn children's brains are particularly susceptible to damage. I wonder if by interfering with my past I will have somehow changed my own developmental path. There's only one way to find out. thanks for having me for dinner. Huh. So you're me, hey? Doc, what are you doing here?
Well, let's go talk in this weird old room over here. As you may expect, it's a strange, long story that will never fully be explained. Oh, good thinking taking the cameraman along with you.
Thanks. So that baby is me?
Yep.
Am I, all right? Because I just saw my mother drinking and smoking in the past, and there's no safe amount of alcohol during pregnancy.
Well, as I've just finished explaining to your parents, you have fetal alcohol syndrome. The alcohol caused a few problems in your brain development, among them improper wiring of connections and neuronal death in select places. I'm afraid that there is critical cortex development during the whole gestation period, so all 3 trimesters are a sensitive period.
So what does that mean for little Marty? And for future me?
Well, aside from these distinctive facial features, it has meant for you mild mental retardation and poor coordination. In the future, we might also see that learning or attention problems have arisen. The smoking your mother did also increases the chance that you'll develop ADHD. Sad how the nicotine constricted her blood vessels and cut off oxygen flow to you in the womb, isn't it? You won't develop as far as your potential would have allowed you to. As far as many cognitive skills go, you'll have a lack in the future.
Doc, focus! What are my parents doing for me?
I'm afraid your parents are being rather neglectful. Just take a look at yourself in that playpen. Alone, neglected. No one wants to talk to you or play with you.
How awful.
Sure is. Let's get back to your family. So, yes, as I was saying, the best way to deal with his developmental delays is to completely ignore him. I don't recommend further aggravating his conditions by trying to develop a close relationship with him. Continue to avoid face-to-face interactions until at least his 2nd birthday. Additionally, were I you, I would be especially careful to not let anyone, not you, not siblings, not anyone, talk to him between the ages of 2 and 12. Trust me, I'm a doctor.
Doc! What are you doing? Surely that can only hurt future me. Children need early social and emotional interaction for proper development of the limbic system and the whole right hemisphere. And weren't you telling me before that while neurological events are most important for language between 2 and the onset of puberty, some minimal language exposure is also needed?
I'm sorry I have to do this to you, Marty, but the research is of the utmost importance. Even the integrity of your potentially normal development pales in comparison. I have to be sure of what's being theorized for so long.
So you developed a time machine specifically so that you could mess me up entirely by manipulating my critical periods? That's sick, Doc. Couldn't you at least play around with something less serious, like my ability to count or read?
I'm afraid there's not much evidence to suggest that those cognitive abilities have independent critical periods. But there's no time to argue this. We're headed back now. This is a moment to be recorded for posterity. Are you getting this? Good, good. Okay. I have, by the means of time travel, manipulated this subject's critical period for language development and also his sensitive period for attachment, such that he's been deprived at the times when they were most needed of sensory and social stimuli needed to develop his potential in the areas of both communication and social navigation. In other words, Marty is now totally messed up, confirming much of the research indicating the importance of a healthy development during critical periods. Oh, Marty, just you take that pen back there. It's okay. It's okay. Okay. As far as language goes, well, Marty doesn't really say much, or he doesn't really say anything. We've tried, now that he's practically a full-grown adult, to teach him how to speak, but after several months of this training, he can only say a few words spontaneously and imitate just a few more. It's words. Well, his words usually have segments missing from them. He seems to have much difficulty with control throughout the vocal tract. I expect that we'll see sentences, if perhaps just 2-word ones. Well, we won't see those for several more months. Now, Marty does understand simple words. Good. Good. Mm-hmm. Actually, in comparison to younger children learning a language, he's quite a quick learner. I expect that with more time and training, he'll also come to understand singular plural contrasts in nouns, negative affirmative sentence distinctions, possessive constructions, modifications using prepositions, conjunctions, and comparative forms of adjectives. A fully developed grammar, I suspect, however, will never come. Such is the nature of a critical period. It's possible that with the lateralization of brain functions already complete, language is, for Marty, processed in a different spare part of the brain that is less efficient for language processing than the left hemisphere, for which language development is optimized. But we'll have to wait a few more years to be sure about that. Now, I'm sure you're wondering what happened due to the lack of attachment experience during Marty's sensitive period. As we see, the problems with his development in his right hemisphere, that's this side, the right hemisphere, means he has problems coping with, he has problems coping with stress and with self-regulation. Well, let me show you. Marty!
No!
Marty! Whoa, Marty, go, good. See? He's impulsive, his relationships are unstable with me, well, heck, with all people, and he doesn't really have a good concept of who he is. Language is impaired, so that's probably confounded the results. I suspect that he may also have reactive attachment disorder, since he's a kleptomaniac, having stolen an entire box of pens. He's given to depression, he's sadistic and violent, and also sexually obsessed. Sad, isn't it? Guess those sensitive periods really are important. Thanks for watching.